What is going on, everyone? Welcome to CGT Week 1 against Shuckleking. It is finally starting. We are back for Champions of Galar, and we are trying to kick ass this season. It is the last draft league of Gen 8 before Gen 9 comes out, so we definitely want to pull out all the stops here and show that we are able to be the champion of Galar. And I'm super excited for this season because I think that the competition is just absolutely insane. It's undisputably even harder than season 1, so go check out all 16 coaches in the description below, and yeah, go watch all the games that are going up today. It's going to be super cool to see some old faces, some new faces, duke it out, and have some really exciting battles for you to sort of send off Sword and Shield. This week we're going up against Shuckleking, coach of the Ok Rillaboomers, someone who I have wanted and dreaded to play for a long time now. Wanted in the sense that he is someone who I want to test myself against. I feel like he's someone who I would say is better than me in terms of performance and has more accolades than I do, and is someone who I think is pretty well respected in the Wi-Fi community. So it would be really cool if I could take a win off him, especially during week 1. I think he's one of the hardest people on my schedule, so to be able to take a win off of him right away would set me on a really good start for the season. I think this is probably like a blessing and a curse in the sense that it makes our week 1 really difficult, but if it ends up going well, I think it sends us on like a really solid streak. Like I mentioned in my draft analysis, I have a ton of help from my front office, as well as a friend called Zazo or Iron Flash Gaming. We have been working pretty tirelessly on this build, so I'm really hoping that it ends up working out. I'm nervous. I'm super nervous. I think that if this game goes wrong, it's going to be off of my anxiety and my poor play on my part. I think the prep's there, so I'm excited to show it to you all. We're going to do 4 things during these videos. We're going to do intros like this. We're going to do team builders, and these are going to be pretty intricate team builders. Then we're going to have the actual battle, and then we're going to have a post-match sort of unpacking and seeing stuff that like I did wrong or maybe should have done better. So if all those parts interest you, then you're in for a treat. If you only want to see some of those parts, there's timestamps in the description. So yeah, awesome. All right, let's go into the team builder. So we are here for our match against Shuckleking and our team that we are bringing. Once again, shout out to the front office, people such as Simon, people such as Dies a Lot, people such as Hayes, people such as Sean, Marcus, Razor, all these people who helped me mock. I really do appreciate it. And if I'm forgetting anyone, I'm really sorry, but I love you as much as well. So I just need to make sure. I mocked with like 15 people, so there's like a ton of help and hands on deck here. So I'm really excited to have such a great front office lineup this season, and I'm forever appreciative of everyone. So thank you, as well as thank you to Zazo and Iron Flash Gaming. They're the same person. Zazo. I'm just gonna say Zazo from now on. Thank you to Zazo for helping me construct a lot of these EV spreads and some of the set ideas. I really do appreciate it, and feel like, it's great to be kind of working with someone in terms of getting the most intricate, amazing builds that we possibly can get. So I really do feel like the team is good for this match. It's just about a question of my own execution. So let's go into what this team actually is. As you can tell, you can see Shuckle team right above me. He has a few threats. 2 of the biggest threats to me, in my perspective, are the ground types. I think Zygarde 10 and Nidoking are probably the most threatening things against my team from experience in mocks. I think that I don't really have great Thousand Arrow switch-ins. Nidoking, I don't have great switch-ins to. For Zygarde, it's tricky because my grass type is 4 times weak to Skitter Smack, which makes going up against Zygarde 10 a little scary. And same goes for Nidoking in the sense that I can't switch into my grass type since obviously it's going to go for a poison move, and my best sort of dual stab resistance is Crobat, which, as you can see, I'm bringing this game, but I can just get easily hit by a Ice Beam or a Thunderbolt. So chipping that Nidoking and putting it in range of getting revenged is going to be sort of the name of the game. Spectre and Rotom Wash are a really sort of gross combination here in the sense that Zarude is pressured to take both of them on, so if one can break for another, it can be very scary. So if I see both, I'm going to be kind of worried, but if I see only one of them, I'm not going to be too concerned because I know that I can break it down with Zarude. And then Clefable, I'm not too worried about, given that I have things like AG Slash and a lot of good breakers and stuff like Crobat too. Victini is obviously always very scary. I don't know what Shuckleking is going to do with it. It's pretty versatile in terms of what it can do on paper this matchup, but generally speaking, I expect Band or maybe some kind of Boots variant or maybe a resist variant like Kasib or Pasho, but I think it'll be more offensive, I imagine. And then we have Mandibuzz, which is AG Slash's biggest check that we want to make sure that we're getting out of the way for an AG Slash sweep in the game. Cobalion is also something on the thing here that I think is likely to come, in the sense that it's one of the best Zarude responses. It's one of the best physical sort of walls for a few things on my team, and it's like his Exploud resist. I'm not bringing Exploud, but it's like the Mon that can take on Exploud, so it makes me think that that will probably also have a high likelihood of coming this game, especially because it's possible I bring Exploud for Spectrier. And then I think the only other thing worth pointing out is that Pharaoh Seed. I would not be surprised if Pharaoh Seed came. I'd actually be more surprised if Spectrier came than if Pharaoh Seed came. I mean, I have double Water Fairy, so it would make sense if the Steel Grass came this matchup. Do I think it's that scary? Not in itself, but it setting up spikes can be super, super annoying for me, and you know, I don't want that. So that is the sort of idea and general ideas that I have about Shuckle-King's team and what they can do against me. Now let's see what, you know, I made for Shuckle-King. Now, first of all, something to pay attention to is that I made a link, a document that is in the description. So while I do this team builder, if you want to open that document, it'll show you calcs and things that sort of give you an idea of what I'm talking about for this team. So calcs that might be relevant to taking certain hits or why certain spreads are the way they are, because I'm not going to remember everything. So it's just going to be important to maybe have those calcs open and have an idea of what I'm sort of talking about actually looking at them. So the AG Slash set is super unique. It is a Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon, King Shield Autonomized set. It's not unique in just those movesets. I think it's more unique in the sense that its EV spread is meant to not set up on Mandibuzz, but yeah, to some extent set up on Mandibuzz depending on its set. I have to be very careful with foul play and make sure I'm not in sword form when it clicks foul play. But other than that, a Flash Cannon into another Flash Cannon after I get the weakness policy boost is going to be KOing the Mandibuzz. So if I can Flash Cannon on a switch and then force, you know, it to attack me with knockoff or King Shield on the foul play and then go for, you know, Flash Cannon again, it's going to be pretty good at breaking down that Mandibuzz, which is great. If Mandibuzz doesn't come, Shadow Ball just goes absolutely in. So I think Mandibuzz has to come this game just to stop like this from like winning outright. That's kind of the idea behind it. It's probably my best cleaner option in this game. It has enough speed to outspeed things like Zarude and Spectrier, at least the creeps that I expect that they're going to be making. So I think this is an all-around great set. Next bond that we have is Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini is running Choice Scarf. We have a ton of calcs for this Tapu Fini because it's going to be doing, you know, a lot of work this game. We have a lot of attack investment, which is good because we need things like Moonblast to KO, or not KO, but do a lot of damage to Rotom Wash. We have it currently as like a 3-hit KO and a small chance to 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. Surf to Nidoking is a guaranteed 1-hit KO after Stealth Rocks with this EV spread. Moonblast has a pretty high chance to 2-hit KO versus Max Speed F Mandibuzz, which is super important. And then we have things like Moonblast as well with this EV spread. In particular, Cobalion gets 2-hit KO'd if it's just no bulk and more offensive, which is also very, very nice. So just a few things there. Only other things pointing out are the defog. The defog is there for the Pharaoh Seed, so if Pharaoh Seed tries to come in on Fini, I can defog on it, which is great. And then the trick is also there for the Pharaoh Seed or a Clefable that is trying to set up with Cosmic Powers or Calm Minds or something like that. All very important. The defense there is pretty nice. It is EV'd to take one non-Life Orb Sludge Wave from Nidoking if it's max modest, so if it's like a bulkier variant, as well as Zygarde 10,000 Arrows. This is probably my initial pivot into Zygarde 10 just so I can take 1,000 arrows. It'll do about half if it's Choice Banded, a little bit under half if it's like Soft Sand or Life Orb, and then if it's like, I don't know, Lumberry or something not, it's going to do like maybe not a quarter, maybe like a third. So the defense investment on Fini is key to take those hits and then fire back with a Moonblast, which is pretty massive. So I like this Fini set. I think it's going to put on a lot of pressure. And the great thing about his team, again, is that his fairy resists are weak to water for the most part outside of Pharaoh Seed. So I could, you know, bring Finian on Nidoking and predict like Rotom Wash coming in and click Moonblast and like do a bunch of damage there. Like it really does force KOs here, I think, because Shuckleking is going to have to predict whether I'm clicking what stab, and it's going to be difficult for him to, you know, find a pivot. That's like 100% safe. Next mon is Zarude. It has Power Up, Darkest Lariat, U-Turn, and Jungle Healing. This set takes a non-boosting item, Sludge Wave, from Modest Nidoking, and avoids a 3 KO from Choice Banded Zydog with 1,000 Arrows, which is pretty good. Or actually, I think it's Earthquake is something I'm avoiding a 3 KO on. So I'm pretty good in that sense. If it's Skitter Smack, then I can kind of pivot around with Crobat or maybe something else. But if it's Choice Band, it's kind of good and bad. It's bad in the sense that if this gets weakened, it becomes a huge issue. But it's good in the sense that I can kind of pivot around, you know, switching out on Skitter Smack or whatever. But that's kind of it. It's meant to be a sponge for Spectrier. It's meant to be a sponge for Rotom Wash. That's why we have the Jungle Healing. Boots is important to just not get chipped down super hard. But yeah, it's just a sponge for those 2 mons. I just got to be careful with it. Like, if Spectrier comes in, I need to make sure that it's not just like KOing me with like Specs Uproar or something crazy like that, and then Rotom Wash can't run wild. That would suck. So I just got to be a little bit conservative with it. That's the only downside, but it's, you know, it's so good this matchup that's why I need to be conservative of it. So it's important. Blueberry the Azumarill is here. We are bringing the double water fairy core because it is the best core ever. And we're bringing Choice Band this week. I think Choice Band looks great here. Play Rough, his resists are Victini and Nidoking. And if Pharisee doesn't come, if Pharisee comes, I have Superpower, which is a nice mid-ground against other things anyway. But even against its resistances, like Play Rough is doing probably about half to the fairy resists. And then Liquidation to things like Rotom Wash is doing like quite a chunk as well. I'm probably going to be clicking Play Rough most often since the resists are a lot worse and less likely to switch into Azu, and Play Rough to like defensive Rotom is doing a shit ton of damage. Aqua Jet also looks great. It's doing a ton of damage to Nidoking. It's doing a ton of damage to Victini. It's doing a ton of damage to Zygarde 10. It's doing a ton of damage to other things. Play Rough is really nice to pressure things like the Mandibuzz, which I want to make sure it's either dead or very chipped before Aegislash pops off. And this is also a nice mon to break down Clefable. Clefable, if it runs like very physically bulky, I 2 KO it with Liquidation, which is very nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Next we have Batrastard. This is probably the most intricate spread of the entire team, and that's because it's our dedicated lead here. And what it is meant to do, it is meant to beat basically every lead 1v1 with the exception of maybe Rotom Wash, but even Rotom Wash I could stay in against and not die. If it's Scarf, I get a slow U-turn off. If it's not, then I can just get the U-turn off, which is great. But the reason Crobat is really nice here is, one, like I said earlier, to avoid just dying to Nidoking's dual stab. 2 is for the speed control, outspeeding things like that Zygarde 10% or the Cobalion. And then the other thing that it's pretty nice for is that lead scenario. So I have it so it can take things like a V-Create from Victini or a Bolt Strike from Victini and U-turn out. So that way I can know whether it's Scarf or not, because that would be the only way that outspeeds me. But the big thing that this EV spread is doing is it is basically taking into account Brave Bird recoil on a lead Nidoking and then living an Ice Beam or Thunderbolt from a non-modest Life Orb Nidoking set. So that is what we're looking for here. We had to sort of see, like, okay, what is the damage amount that Crobat could be taking after clicking Brave Bird against Nidoking? Like, how much recoil am I taking? And am I living a T-Bolt or an Ice Beam after that? And if he's modest, it's about a 50-50 chance for me to live that hit. If it is timid, then there's only a 6.3% chance for T-Bolt or Ice Beam to KO me after I get a max roll with Brave Bird. If I don't get a max roll with Brave Bird, then I should never be dying. So that's the idea. It should be able to beat 1v1 everything. It was having trouble originally dealing with Nidoking. I fixed the EV spread. Now it should hopefully beat the Nidoking 1v1 unless it's like max HP, max special attack modest, but that seems quite unlikely in my mind. And then the last mon is Stunfisk. Stunfisk is probably the most boring spread of the entire team, but it is arguably one of the most important mons in that it has to set up rocks, and it stops him from getting momentum, because I think his main form of momentum grabbing here is going to be Volt Switch Cobalion, and this stops it. So it helps sort of switch into Cobalion, get rocks up for myself, spread Toxic, spread Earth Power, and hopefully at some point I can get a Custap Berry off. There's a few calcs that are important here that put me into Custap range, so things like Choice Band, Adamant, Victini, V-Create puts me into Custap range, Rotom Wash, Hydro Pump, if it's Max Modest, puts me into Custap range, and then I think non-Life Orb Earth Power from Nidoking also puts me in Custap range, so all very, very important stuff with just that basic EV spread with the 12 and Spadef. And I'm just like not taking very much from other stuff, like Cobalion CC is doing like a third to me if it's max, and that's kind of it. Plus he risks static, so static's gonna be super important against stuff like Victini and Cobalion, and I don't know, Zygarde if it locks into extreme speed or something else. So yeah, that's the team, and yeah, I hope you all enjoy the game. We'll get into it now. Alright, we're here for our battle against Shuckleking. Nervous, excited, everything. We'll see how it goes. But you know, the reality is we got a tough week 1 ahead of us. But if we can pull it off, we can pull anything off, baby. Bam. Let's do this. Still waiting on him. We'll see. Yep, I assume so. Good luck. Have fun. You too. And we'll see what he ends up bringing. Okay. This is everything I expected, except there's no Mandibuzz. There's no Ghost Switching. You didn't bring Ghost Switching against Aegislash? Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so Autonomize Aegislash does something here. It does a lot of something here. I still have to see if it's Scarf Victini or anything like that, or Sucker Punch Nidoking, but I can set up on a few things here. I can set up on Zygarde if it's not banned. I can set up on Clefable. Okay, this isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. I'm going to lead with Batrastard, because I think that was the thing I planned from the get-go. My Joy-Con is going a little slow, but hopefully it isn't an issue for the game. Yeah, see, stuff like that. I don't want that. I'll make sure that I have a Pro Controller for my next one. But that should hopefully do it for us. Maybe I should have waited a little bit, but let's look at this. Okay, we can use Stunfisk for Cobalion. We can use Zarude, since there's no Spectre, Zarude can pretty safely come in on Rotom every single time. And since we're Boots and he has a few Rockers, that works out. Play Rough is super spammable. The only resist is Nidoking, and Water type is also super good. Got a few good things here. Do I want to take out my headphones? I'm keeping my headphones in. I like the little like insulatedness that it's like an earplug. Kind of works out for me. All right, what are we gonna see? Rotom. That's fine. Okay, so unsure how I want to play this. Do I want to scout for Scarf right away? I could, but I like this to switch into Nidoking, generally speaking, so I think I'm just gonna go hard into U off Rip. This brings in Cobalion and not really much else, so we'll do that. And I don't really mind Cobalion coming in here. It's not the end of the world. We're just going to go hard Zarude here. If he goes for Volt Switch, it could mean Scarf, but I'm not sure. We see Trick. Okay. That's not ideal. That's actually really bad. Choice Specs and Boots is what he gets. So I get Choice Specs. That's not very fun. I'm going to click U-turn here, because I think he's just going to go Cobalion. This makes it a little bit harder for me, but I don't think it's the end of the world. It's a little annoying that this thing now has Boots, but it's fine. Okay, I have a few options. I can go directly into Azu and get Pressure off, or I can go Stunfisk and try and click Stealth Rocks. I think I want to go Stunfisk and click Stealth Rocks here, to be honest. Just get Chip on everything. So we'll do that. This is a little annoying to have Zarude on specs right away. But rocks are clutch here because it's going to give me information as to like what Victini's item is, and it could also help with like knowing whether Clefable is Magic Art or unaware. He could just go into... He could just defog here. The odds that he clicks Hydro Pump seem kind of small to me. I kind of want to Toxic knowing that, but I think it's possible he Toxics himself, so I don't want to risk that on Stunfisk. If he goes for Volt Switch here, then I think I might, on the next play, be kind of greedy about it. But he Hydro Pumps, so I'm glad I didn't overplay that. Okay, great. I feel like I just want to Power Whip here. Yes, I'm just going to Power Whip here. Even if Kabalion comes in, Stunfisk is super free, and it's really not the end of the world. So we have Hydro Pump. I should calc that Hydro Pump damage as well. So it's Hydro Pump Trick, and it was Choice Specs. So I imagine it's very offensive, but it's hard to tell. We're going to see, I think that was Kabalion. Yep. So it's gonna do some damage, you know. I'll take that. I mean, you know, that's helping us get into range with AG Slash. I don't mind it at all. I imagine he's going to set up his rocks. He does. Now I have a few plays here. I could go back into Zarude, but I don't know if I want to take some extra chip. He's definitely going to go Rotom here, right? So what's the move on that front? It is probably just to click Toxic, to be honest. So we're just going to do that. We're just going to click Toxic. I think there's a world he goes Nidoking, but it's not the worst world. Harris. This thing. Okay. Okay. And I missed the Toxic. That's not fun. He'll Arrows here. I think I can go into Cleopatra and figure out what set this thing is, which is fine. Zygarde 10 versus Tapu Fini. I really would have liked to hit that Stunfisk, but it's not the end of the world not to see it. Land. Arrows, if it's Soft Sand, is doing 42 to 49. That was the set Razor ran against me. If it's Banned, it's doing a little bit more. It will be 1,000 arrows, I imagine. 140 will go down to... Let's see. That's banded. 49. And that's going to be 91 damage. So that looks to be Choice Band. It's guaranteed Choice Band. Okay. So what are the odds that he stays in? Low. But I think I just click Moonblast anyway. Surf was another option. But I think Rotom is a likely switch in here, so I don't mind it coming in. Yeah. And taking some chip. Keeping this alive, even though rocks are up, are going to be really important. And we get this Padak drop, which I like. Part of me wants to go Fisk here. But I don't know what that does for me. Other than make me take more Toxic chip. So we're just gonna do that. We're just gonna go into Rotom. Let's calc that Moonblast damage. Rotom Wash. Volt Switch will probably come out here. Yeah, that's fine. So that did about what? 60. So it looks to be max HP if I had to guess.
Meaning, what do we need for AG Slash really here? Just a little extra chip. Do I think he's skitter smacking here? Zygarde 10. Let's check out Crobat. Arrows, Choice Band versus Crobat should be doing 58 to 68. So if he skitter smacks, that's pretty good for me here. Shouldn't do too much, and Brave Bird should KO back in some world. My world. Alright, skitter smack. That's pretty cool. So we know it's locked into skitter smack. Do I want to see if that's adamant? That did 15 damage. It could be jolly. We're going to click U-turn here. If he stays in, then we just go into AG Slash, click Shadow Ball on something. Which is fine. We're going to see Rotom here. So now this thing is in AG Slash range, which is spectacular. It's about getting chip on this Rotom. It's become slightly harder to do because that crit helps, but it becomes slightly harder to do because of the boots it now has. But Water Move looks great now. Now a Water Move from either Finny or what's it called? Fucking either Finny or Azu. Looks great. Okay. U-turn or jungle healing? What are the odds this thing's Willow? It's Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Trick. Could be T-Bolt as the last move. I think I'm just gonna Power Whip again, to be honest. That's fine. Because I imagine this thing is now totally in AG Slash range, assuming this connects. Nice. And now... he could double Nidoking here, which I wouldn't like. Let's actually go Cobalion. Let's do that. Or not Cobalion, what am I talking about? Crobat. Because I don't think he'll Volt Switch here. I think him Volt Switching would be unlikely. Close combat. Awesome. So now I just get a free Brave Bird off. So let's click it. He stays in. I didn't calc if this kills, but you're -1. I feel like it should, right? Awesome. Not sure if that crit mattered. It probably matters in the sense that he can't calc what I am, but if he's max HP... He's max HP, that crit did matter. But I didn't really care, because you were dead to rocks anyway, so... Eh. Okay, Rotom comes in. There is now... Let's U-turn here. How does AG set up? On Clefable, maybe? Let's go into Zabumafu. I want to see how much HP in particular Rocks is doing to Zabumafu, because I think that's going to be quite important. 64, I don't remember what it was at. I think it was 89 minus 64. So 25 is how much it's doing, which is fine. Given how chipped Rotom is, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. keeping a few things alive is going to be very important for... God, Aqua Jet looks great. Okay, this thing comes in. So... let's take a look at this. I have some time on my clock, so I'll take the time I need. Zygarde into Finny, I think did 91 last I checked, right? So, item, choice band. Yeah, I think it was 91. So if it was Adamant, that roll is unlikely. But let's just benefit of the doubt, say it's Adamant, and I go Crobat here. It does 136 max. I cannot risk that. I probably die. So I think my play is to sack this. I think this is done enough, so I don't really care. Extreme speed. Okay. So I can go hard Azu, which I don't hate, because Liquidation's pretty free and should claim a kill. I could also... I can go hard Finny and do the same thing with Surf, which I arguably like a little bit more, to be honest. But then if he sacks something not named Rotom, that could be an issue. But that's the case for Blueberry too. Kabalion's dead, so Stunfisk is a lot more expendable, so maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. But I don't wanna take chip on this. I think this has stronger hits, so I'm gonna click Liquidation with Banded Azu. I guess my issue with this is that it brought Nidoking in. Do I care? Rotom's the sack. So he doesn't know my set yet, so he might not even go Nidoking, to be honest. Okay, Rotom's dead. Do I need Crobat? There's no resist to Crobat, but Crobat also isn't offensive. But it could be nice for Clefable, depending on what Clefable is. But I have Trick Finny for Clefable in that instance. So I have a few options here. I think that if Clefable is Flamethrower, that's my setup fodder, which is great. Okay, so do I go Fisk here and sack it, or do I go Crobat and hope that he's not clicking Ice Beam? I think Fisk is still useful for Victini, so I think Crobat's the better sack here. And with Aqua Jet plus what's it called? I think I'm okay. Do we see Ice Beam here? We see Thunderbolt. So that was a good mid ground. I didn't think about that. So I could have gone into what's it called. Does that give me any information about the set? What was I? 1 something something? Thunderbolt. It's probably Life Orb, which is good to know. Let's go into Cleopatra here and click, and I think I can switch into a few more rocks. How much is this doing? 49 goes down to 30, so I can switch in one more time after this. And if he gives me this, hopefully everything's in range of Aegislash. So I don't think he should give me this. Yeah, he doesn't. Sends out Sven, is that Clefable? It's Clefable. How much damage are we doing here? Okay. Do I just want to surf here? I don't know. I think I do. I don't think I have a choice. He's gonna revenge me with E-Speed Zygarde anyway, so let's surf here. And let's calc that damage too. Moonblast. Awesome. AG slash. I don't outspeed Scarf Victini, and I don't know if it is Scarf Victini, which is, yeah, which is an issue. It's Boots. Okay. I'm gonna King Shield here. I want to see what he locks into. Oh wait, that's useless. But if he's V-Create, then it's good. That's fire. That's fire! Okay. Didn't I just win? Like, alright, we're gonna go into you. That wasn't our last setup opportunity, so we'll make it work. I want to see Zygarde 10 against my AG Slash. Zygarde 10. Oh, that was a huge mistake. If I Shadow Balled there, that was massive. Okay, well, he's Boots. I know that, which is great. He'll double here, right? No. But he can't... Ugh. Okay. Is that it? Do I lose? Zygarde 10, 1,000 arrows into my AG Slash isn't oh wait, it's not Choice Band in this set. Choice Band. It's a roll. What about versus Stunfisk? It's less relevant, but we'll see. I could go hard Azu here and click Aqua Jet, which seems nice. I think I have to, because I don't think I can lose this. And I think you're Earth Powering here, and I should live in Earth Power, right? Aqua Jet. But then I lose to Zygarde. So maybe I can't do that. I think I have to play off this choke here. Okay. You're dead. Go into Azu. I'm clicking Aqua Jet till my heart's content. To my heart's content. Whether this kills or not, I have no idea. But if I just Shadow Balled there, I got so greedy, I played too quick. didn't even think about Encore. Does this kill? Oops. Okay. Fable versus Azu, or versus Azu. It depends on the spread. What about Victini? Victini it won't kill. We're seeing Bolt Strike here. It's possible. Won't be banded. It is possible I live one. We just have to go for it. It's very bulky. So I might live this because of how bulky it is, but I have no idea. I do. That's huge. Click Aquajet. I think I lose to Nidoking. I think I lose to Nidoking. Or is Nidoking dead? I don't even remember. Nidoking is dead. Nidoking is dead. Okay. You're in. Jesus Christ. Now I wish I was, you know, something else. If I landed Toxic, that would have been huge. AZUMARILL versus Zygarde. I didn't even realize how low our timers were getting. Aquajet won't be KOing him. But I have no choice but to click it and hope for maybe like a crit or something. Holy shit. Okay, that Aquajet did 58 to 69 on the set with the speed creep. I didn't deserve that, but it did look like, oh my god, I just fucking won. Holy shit. Wow. Okay, good game to Shuckleking. Let me look at these calcs real quick. Aquajet never killed there, so I assume his play was trying to clean with arrows, which makes sense. I was really bulky Fizz on a Fizz-Duff side for AG Slash. So it depends if he was Adamant or Jolly. My calcs say it should be Jolly. So if it's Jolly, choice band, arrows, 2 rounds of rocks would take me down to 88%. If it was Jolly, he would have had a 75% chance to KO my thing. So the odds were in his favor to win there, but I had a 25% chance even if I didn't crit there.
All right, so now we are back in the post-game part of the video, and thank you all for watching the video. I am so stoked to have picked up a win against Shuckleking. I kind of cut that end part of me talking for a while because I think that some of the things I said were slightly inaccurate. So I wanted to kind of comment on some of the hacks that happened first here, and then go into some of my misplays because I made quite a few and want to go through them. So first things first, the hacks. I'm just going to go into the hacks. So not looking at any misplays or different plays that anyone could have made. The only hacks that I think mattered this game, quote unquote, and mattered in the sense that it wasn't game winning or game losing, but mattered in the sense that like it was game defining. I mean, it's all game defining, but it's the only hacks that had a imbalanced impact on the game. Was the Brave Bird crit from Crobat onto Cobalion, and that's just because it lived and he would have had an extra sack in the back. To what extent that extra sack in the back would have been important for, I'm not sure. And this is only assuming that Shuckleking clicked Volt Switch. I have no idea what he clicked. If he clicked anything else, if he clicked Iron Head or Close Combat or something else, I don't know why I'd click Close Combat, but if you clicked Iron Head or something like that, I don't think it mattered because I would just killed the next turn anyway, and I was sacking Crobat to Nidoking later on in the game regardless, so that health wasn't too important to me. The only way it would have been important is if he would have gotten a slow Volt Switch off, but he still would have been in range of things like Aegislash and AZUMARILL, which were my endgames. So I'm not entirely sure how much they would have mattered for the endgame, but I'm not going to say it didn't matter because it's like, you have no idea. So now let's like actually talk about the real thing, is the AZUMARILL crit. I completely forgot during the endgame of like the game that I missed a Toxic against that Zygarde 10. And had I landed that Toxic and counting how many times that Zygarde came in throughout the duration of the game, it would have been like very much in Aqua Jet range. Like it would have been in kill range for Aqua Jet. Had it been Toxic and been taking Toxic chip throughout the course of the game, it would have been a little under half at that point. So I don't feel too bad about the crit because I think it makes up for that miss. Obviously crits are more likely or less likely than Toxic misses, but I still kind of see it as like, I see it as balanced. And I see it as a little extra balanced in the sense that even if I missed that Toxic, I still had a 25% chance to live with Aegislash after AZUMARILL died, which put me in a position where I could win just by getting the weakness policy and autonomizing and shadow balling twice. So I think I would have won had I landed the Toxic and I wouldn't have needed the Aqua Jet crit, and assuming everything else plays out as normal. But even if I miss the Toxic, I still have the 25% chance, which I think balances out for the imbalance between the likelihood of the Toxic miss and the crit. So that's just my take on the situation. Shuckleking could differ. I don't know what he'll say in his video, but that's my take on it. If you disagree, that's totally fine, but that's just how I kind of see the game in terms of fairness, I guess, if you want to count about that. But let's talk about the actual like game itself, because I definitely want to touch base on it, and we're actually not gonna have face cam for this part just so you all can see like the full video, or are we gonna have face cam? Maybe we can make something work here. I'm not sure. Okay, so this is the actual game. A few major misplays that I want to go over. Let's fuck it. Let's add a face cam. Why not? This is live editing for you all. Everything has been so amazingly edited, and now we're just here. Okay, so little face cam, little small face cam right here. Everything in the game goes pretty well, I would say, to this point. There's a few times I clicked Power Whip and I could have clicked U-turn and gained some extra momentum. It wasn't the end of the world, though. I think those are just small little, I don't want to say misplays, but I'll say inaccuracies and blunders is like terminology that Zazo's told me about, and I think that those are pretty strong terms to use, because inaccuracy means that like you could have had a better play, but the play you made was still all right. Blunder means that like you could have like won the game, and you missed the opportunity, or you did something that lost you the game, you know. So I think I had maybe a few inaccuracies here. I think going into Finny was fine this point. I think clicking Moonblast was fine here. I think going into Zarude was great here. And then obviously my edits will show at some point. The big thing that was hilarious, I think it showed it during the actual game, assuming I edit it that way. When Zygarde comes out mid-game and KOs me, KOs Zarude with extreme speed, my brain just totally forgot that it just clicked extreme speed. My mind was like, it just clicked 1,000 arrows, because I just like assume, I don't know, like my brain just thought it clicked 1,000 arrows. I don't know why I said extreme speed. My brain, after I go into the team preview thing, just said 1,000 arrows, and that's just one of those things that you can just blank on. Thankfully, I did not click Finny. I almost went into Finny to Revenge. If I went into Finny Revenge, I definitely lost the game there. So I don't know if that's lucky or if that's intuition or what the hell it was, but thank God I went to AZUMARILL this turn to pressure out the Zygarde, because had I gotten to Finny and he just clicked E-Speed as I clicked Moonblast, that would have been disastrous. So I'm very glad that I didn't do anything like that. Big part here in the endgame. So this is where the endgame starts, and we'll kind of start looking at it now. But here's how I kind of see it. So we have a situation now where Finny starts chipping down the Clefable, which is awesome. What I should have recognized in this moment here is that with a little chip on Victini, Azu Aqua Jet should win, regardless of getting crits or not. I was so tunnel visioned on winning with Aegislash that I failed to notice that Aqua Jet could have won me the game, in the sense that Nidoking was in range. If Victini was chipped a little bit, it could get in range. And this was now in range because of it moonblasting me. And then Zygarde, while it wasn't in range at the time, since I missed the Toxic, it couldn't kill me with anything. So it would have to essentially, click E-Speed. And if it clicked E-Speed, I can go into Aegislash or go into Stunfisk after it clicks E-Speed once. Or it'd have to click Thousand Arrows, in which I would just pressure out with another jet. So that was something I didn't realize. I didn't realize that Aqua Jet was a better win condition here than Aegislash, because I was so tunnel vision on getting the weakness policy with Aegislash here. So I go into Aegislash, and obviously I said it in my commentary, this is the big misplayed turn. But it's not because Aegislash would have just won, because it wouldn't have just won. It wouldn't have killed this Victini. I would have gotten Encored, but I honestly, I could have gotten Blue Flared and died, and I still would have won the game. It doesn't matter what this Victini does. If I damage this Victini, I should win the game, because it means that Azu Aqua Jet wins from this point. So if I just click Shadow Ball here, and that's that, then it puts me in a situation where I can, this thing is probably now around 25%, and since he Encored, he would have had to take Force Chipped on something else, and then, taken the hit with Nidoking, and then revenge me with Nidoking, and then I would have gone into Azu and clicked Aqua Jet, and then Zygarde would have come out and clicked Extreme Speed on me, and then I would have gone into Stunfisk. I guess you could have doubled, which would have made things pretty scary. Like if he doubles into Nidoking, then I lose the game. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that big of an issue. I don't know. He could have doubled there. I don't know. But that's kind of just how I'm viewing this endgame. Hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of essentially a series of things that I think could have happened is attack Victini with Shadow Ball, click Aqua Jet with AZUMARILL. That will... Attack Victini with Shadow Ball. If it Encores me, then I just click Shadow Ball again as he sacks something. So he might sack Clefable, say. And then he goes into Nidoking. I click Shadow Ball again at this point, or I could just sack Stunfisk, one of the two. And then I go into Azu, I click Aqua Jet, force a KO there. It's just Victini and Zygarde alive. So then I click, then he goes into Zygarde, he clicks Extreme Speed as I click Aqua Jet. And then I would go into Aegislash, and then if you went into Victini, then it's like a 50-50. So I had better win cons there. Obviously, I would have had to outplay and win 50-50s, but I would never relied on a crit in this endgame, if that makes sense. So I think that attacking the Victini was definitely the wave, because it would have put it in range of Aqua Jet, and wouldn't have made it that I was forced to take that Bolt Strike damage with Azu. So that's just kind of how I view the game. I think that that's kind of important. Hopefully that was articulate enough. If it wasn't, then I do apologize, but it's more so just I needed to attack the Victini there so that I had a better shot of winning with Aqua Jet. It wasn't a guaranteed shot, but it was a better shot. Shuckleking probably would have had to make a double or two to make it work, and he would have had to, click Extreme Speed in the first place. If he didn't click Extreme Speed on my Aqua Jet and you just clicked 1,000 Arrows, hoping I click Play Rough, then it would be over. So, I don't know. It would have created a few tricky situations, but it would have created tricky situations that I would have needed to win rather than me just getting a crit, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I should have done. So I should have recognized that AG was the breaker for Azu and not the other way around. And that's just something I have to keep in mind a little bit more. I have to kind of see those win cons in the actual game itself rather than just thinking about the prep and relying on the win cons of that prep. I left the game thinking I didn't make any blunders, but I rewatched the game realizing I definitely did. Clicking Shadow Ball against Victini was definitely right. But other than that, I think I played pretty good. I definitely played the early game really well, which I am very proud of. It's just about cleaning up that end game for me, and hopefully we're able to do that in the upcoming weeks for CGT. But a win against Shuckleking, I'll take it no matter what. So we'll see. All right, next week we go up against Badass Frostlass and his Indiana Tracers. I'm pretty excited for that game because we've wanted to play each other for a while now, and I'm excited for it. So I will see you all then.